Welcome to Meteor Crater, one of the world's most spectacular natural sights. The crater was formed when a meteor slammed into the Earth. Though dramatic, this event is far from unusual. Collisions and impacts involving asteroids, comets, and meteors have been critical to the formation of the Earth and the entire solar system. The effort to understand meteor craters spans more than 100 years. In the early 20th century, most people in the scientific community thought the crater had been caused by a volcanic steam explosion. Then, in the early 1900s, Philadelphia mining engineer Daniel Barringer found evidence, such as meteorite fragments and finely powdered sand, that convinced him this crater was formed by an asteroid or a meteor. In the early 1960s, Dr. Eugene Shoemaker confirmed Barringer's theory with his discovery of shocked minerals and his detailed analysis of the crater's geology. Today, we know that nearly 50,000 years ago, a meteor 150 feet across plunged into the Earth's atmosphere. Streaking at roughly 26,000 miles an hour, the meteor glowed as a bright fireball, then smashed into the surface of Arizona's high desert plateau and was instantly melted and vaporized. Within seconds, the resulting massive explosion threw millions of tons of rock over the surrounding area, opening the huge crater. In addition to Meteor Crater, more than 150 meteor impact sites have been discovered throughout the world. Today, scientists are studying meteorites and craters to learn more about our planet and the solar system. Here's Dr. Carlton Moore, Director of the Center for Meteorite Studies at Arizona State University.
Throughout time, meteorites have been impacting the Earth and comets have been impacting the Earth, and in all probability, the flux was much greater in the early days than it is now. We must be using them up pretty much, but in the early days, a lot of material was added to the Earth each day. Today, in this area the size of the state of Arizona, maybe one or two good-sized meteorites a year fall. That means the size of a baseball or bigger. When you see a shooting star at night, what you're seeing is a speck of dust the size of the point of a pin. But it's coming so fast that it heats up the molecules in the air. But those are just tiny things. Most meteorites don't form craters. And in order to form a crater, you have to have a very large meteorite which is not slowed down and cushioned by the fall through the Earth's atmosphere. We know of approximately 150 meteorite impact craters. Some are very, very young and some are very old.
One of the most famous Earth impact sites is the Chicxulub crater off Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. Many scientists believe this large meteor impact caused the extinction of over 70% of all living creatures on Earth, including the dinosaurs, some 65 million years ago. One theory suggests that the impact threw enormous clouds of burning debris into the atmosphere, causing fires around the globe and blocking out sunlight for many months, affecting the climate and disrupting the entire food chain. But massive impacts such as Chicxulub are more than footnotes in history. Throughout the solar system, collisions and impacts continue. Think beyond Earth to the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, where most asteroids originate, and where random collisions can send asteroids on a path toward Earth. Scientists are now identifying and tracking potentially hazardous asteroids moving in our direction.
LONEO stands for Lowell Observatory Near-Earth Object Search. And near-Earth objects means asteroids and comets that come close to us. So we're looking for asteroids and comets that may be harmful to our existence. We use our telescope to survey the sky, and we're interested in finding the objects that move against the starry background. And it's the computers downstairs that pick up any motion of asteroids and comets against the stars, and they alert us when one of the objects in question looks as though it's moving in an unusual way and therefore might be close to the Earth. We think that there are somewhere around 1,000 to 1,500 near-Earth asteroids larger than a kilometer in diameter. And as you go to smaller sizes, there are many, many more. Most likely, we will discover an object that we think is on a collision course, but it will be tens, hundreds, or even thousands of years from collision. But you can bet that even if we had 10 years warning, all of the governments of the Earth would spend a huge amount of money, trillions of dollars, making sure that that technology was built and deployed and did its job to stop an impact.
Now, think even farther afield, all the way to Jupiter. For 7 days in July of 1994, 21 fragments of comet Shoemaker-Levy 9 collided with Jupiter, providing a spectacular show. One fragment of the comet blasted a hole in Jupiter's atmosphere larger than Earth. The scientific community was abuzz. It was the first time a collision of two bodies in the solar system was observed. Here's planetary astronomer Dr. Carolyn Shoemaker, co-discoverer of Comet Shoemaker-Levy 9.
I think the most important thing about that comet was just the fact that so many people were ready to see it, and they observed the black spots that were there on Jupiter, and it made believers. It made believers out of geologists who had been opposed to the idea of rocks falling out of the sky and hitting planets. It made believers out of astronomers who hadn't looked inside the solar system for a long time. It made believers out of everyone, and it made the general public aware of the fact that, hey, these things hit other planets, maybe we're next in line. We believe that impacts are responsible for the formation of our solar system, that asteroids and comets represent the early primeval, if you will, bodies that were out there. After the Big Bang, there followed a period called heavy bombardment. It was unlike anything we can imagine now. It's when most of the craters that we see on the moon were formed. Many of the craters on Mercury and Mars and the other planets. The current theory about impact is that our moon was formed out of the Earth by the impact of a giant planet. I do what I do, which is to look for asteroids and comets, to try and discover new ones, and to study impact structures and craters, because the two are tied closely together in the story of our solar system.
The geologic and planetary records are clear. Collisions and impacts throughout our solar system continue. Today, Meteor Crater remains Earth's best preserved and most complete example of this ongoing process, and is a valuable open-air laboratory for continuing research. Meteor impacts are constantly occurring. They have affected the very course of life on Earth. No less can be expected in the future.